What is up, everybody? Welcome to the 7th episode of the Gate 6 podcast. The Yankees are coming off a very successful road trip where they won 6 of 7 against two really bad teams, the Orioles and the Royals, and we are here to talk about it. Nate, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, we're ready. You're ready. Let's do it.
Big pitch coming. 3-0 Twins. Yankees threatening. And the pitch rocked to right field. Tie game.
Are we live?
Yeah, Doug, are we live?
It says waiting.
I
So.
don't see it on YouTube.
Are we live?
Yeah, Can you see us?
It says waiting. Great.
Well, then I guess let's get into it. Okay, cool. What is up, everybody? As we said, sorry about that. The Yankees took 6 of 7 in a pretty successful road trip. Tough loss yesterday, but I don't know about you, Nate. I'm kind of over it. All right, Nate, how you doing?
Doing very well. How you doing, Max?
Oh, that's the audio feedback. I just got the stream working. Yeah, I'm doing well. Memorial Day weekend. Thank you to everybody who served. You know, we are eternally grateful. Of course, Memorial Day weekend. I was in the Hamptons yesterday with my uncle. Went out on a boat ride for a little bit. Got very badly sunburnt. But yeah, now now we're back. 3 games set at home against San Diego. What did you do this weekend, Nate? Or I guess we still have one more day, but
yes. Chilled, hung out with some friends. Went to a pool party yesterday. Today I'm watching the game at 1:00. Very excited. It's been a good weekend.
There you go. Entering the home stretch, we got finals coming up.
Yeah.
And then in 3.5 weeks, we're leaving for Israel.
Yes, indeed.
Very exciting. Nate, so before we get started with the podcast, you want to give a shout out to our friends over on Instagram?
Of course. Shout out to Yanks Universe on Instagram. We are partnering with them. So big shout out to them. Go check them out at Yanks Universe on Instagram. Nice updates, news, all of your Yankees needs are there.
Oh, yeah. We also want to give a shout out to 2 Yankees prospects who liked our Instagram pictures on at Gate6 Podcast, Tyler Hill and Steven Sensley. I guess we can try to see if they'd be interested in coming on the podcast.
If you want to come, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, we're more than happy to have you here. Pretty cool. I think Nate and I were both pretty surprised when we got the notification on the Yankees prospects liked our Instagram pictures.
Saw someone liked the post and it was like had the blue check next to his name. Like, oh, he's important. I'm like, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I also had, not to flex, but Miguel Andujar replied to my comment on his Instagram when I said that I hope his recovery goes okay. So that was a highlight of my week for sure.
That's very cool.
All right, so let's get right into it. Yankees just, like we said, took 6 of 7 on the road. They had a 4-game sweep of Baltimore, and they took 2 of 3 in Kansas City. Everybody's mind is obviously still on, or not necessarily still on, but most recently is on yesterday's loss, I think. Do you think you can really place the blame on anybody for that loss? Like, the end, it was a huge comeback, but I think in the 10th inning, you can't really blame anyone. You know, the dumb hop to Urshela, walking Hamilton isn't great, but he draws walks a lot. He's really good at that. It's not really something you can blame.
If you wanted to blame on Urshela, it was my first instinct, but you saw the hop over his head. There's no way he could have just snagged that. I don't know what the ball had on it. It just went flying over his head somehow. But Holder, you said walk Hamilton, always not good to walk one of the fastest guys out there. But you know what? You got to sometimes, you won't have to win every game of the year, so sometimes you got to, move on to the next series. It was still a very good road trip for the Yankees, 6 out of 7. So can't complain too much because very successful road trip for the Yankees.
Absolutely. You have your tough losses and you move on. I think There's an account that I follow on Twitter. It's one of my favorite follows on Twitter. It's at That's a Bad Take. I think I've referenced them before on the podcast, and they had a tweet yesterday. They're like very in on the analytical movement, which, obviously, as am I, so I really appreciate that. And they said, the last inning was on, get this, nobody. Holder pitched well. Urshela couldn't be expected to make that play. I know Yankees fans like having someone to crucify, which we'll touch on with Machado later, but sometimes you just lose. You have a better record than the Astros, Red Sox, and Rays right now. Be happy, which I think perfectly sums up exactly how I feel. Holder walked a guy who, Billy Hamilton is. He also said, that a lot of casual baseball fans don't realize that a lot of the times the hitter is the one who controls whether he gets the walk, even more than the pitcher, because the hitter is the easier job than the pitcher, really, because the pitcher, has to put in that little zone, and the hitter decides whether they want to swing or not. So I don't think you can really blame Holder for that. The throw down from Sanchez where where Gleyber couldn't really hold on to it, that was a tough play. Ideally, you want Gleyber to hold on to that, but I don't think you can really knock him for that either.
No. I mean, it was a very good throw by Gary. He almost got him. Like, if Gleyber could have caught it, I think he would have been out.
Yeah.
But it was, with Hamilton's speed, you got to basically just sling it once you catch it. So, yeah, I mean, thank God I didn't get to third base, Hamilton. That would have been bad, but it was a good effort. You can see they're trying, they have passion, so that's always good to see.
Definitely. Quick shout out to Nate's sister, Olivia Herman, who says hi in the chat.
Hello, Olivia.
Glad to have you here. If anybody else wants to get a shout out on the podcast, comment in the chat or subscribe or do anything.
Also, if you've got any questions for us that's either Yankees related or MLB related, we're happy to answer them. If you have an opinion you want to share, whatever, make sure it's appropriate, please. Yeah. And that's all I got to say.
Definitely. I think if you can pinpoint yesterday's loss on one person, I think it has to be Domingo Germán, because it was by far his worst start of the year. Are you at a point with him where you're concerned about him yet, or not really?
There's no way. Even the Scherzers and the top pitchers in the league have their bad outings. It just no pitcher can have so many quality outings. I guess DeGrom had that long streak of quality starts, but for the most part, pitchers can't sustain that crazy kind of pitching well streak for a while, and they have the bad games. So with Germán, so still 9-1, has what's the year right now? Is it
9-2 now? But
right. But
no, wait, because he didn't take the loss yesterday. So yeah, he's
they tied it up. Yep. So it's 9-1. I think the year rate jumped a lot, but
it is 3-4-4, which all right.
Okay, whatever. He'll bring it down in the next.
Hey, you cannot complain about. Yeah, you cannot complain about the production Germán has given you this year when you
no doubt.
And the good thing is, both of his losses came against the Royals, and now we're done with them in our schedule. We don't face the Royals again, so
now great.
Should not lose any of his starts for the rest of the year.
That's the goal.
Unless we face the Royals in the playoffs, which quite a few things would have to go incredibly well
totally wrong.
For them to make
the
playoffs. Are catching fire on our team. Sanchez and Gleyber obviously had great series in Baltimore. Voit had that go-ahead home run in, what was it? Because I didn't watch, or I watched the end of the second game of Saturday's doubleheader, but I couldn't watch the first game. That was in the first game that Voit had the go-ahead homer, right? The big lead and Chapman almost blew it.
Yes.
Yeah. Voit had that monster home run. Glaber's hot. Gary's hot. Clint is getting hot, which is great to see because he had been really bad ever since he came off the IL. And even Brett Gardner's getting hot.
Surprisingly, but we'll take it.
Clint's defense is still the one thing that is really. Yesterday when they showed the compilation of all of his errors, it was like, oh man, there was a couple in Houston. There was some at home against Seattle. There was a few in the Kansas City series. It's like, wow, I'm not at a point where when a ball is hit to Clint, I'm like concerned, like I was kind of when there's a ground ball to Andujar, but it's definitely alarming that he's misjudging that many plays.
Yeah. Also, it seems like he's not like even yesterday. He made a nice catch in the end, but him and LeMahieu had a miscommunication. He had a dive for it, which should have been a routine pop up. So I feel like also he had that. He just dropped the ball with Gardner. They just let it fall in that Seattle series. So I feel like he can have a field, but he has to just communicate with Gardner or LeMahieu or whoever's there in the area. So, I mean, I think he'll be fine. I feel like, playing the outfield is a lot easier than playing third base, just because,
Yeah, definitely.
you don't have to make the long throws to first. You kind of track the ball. It's so
You have
hard.
more
don't get me wrong.
reaction time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
you have to make longer throws, but
right.
yeah, I agree with you. I don't think the communication stuff. There's definitely a lot of evidence that that's a real issue with LeMahieu and Gardner and whoever. It's kind of hard to pinpoint that. Obviously, it's like, oh my God, Frazier's involved in all these plays with communication. Obviously, you can pinpoint that on him. But I mean, we don't have soundbite access to hear the communications that's going on. So, if you want to blame that on Clint, I think that's a fair thing to do. But since we don't really have all the access to exactly what's going on behind the scenes there, I kind of chalk those up to, whatever. Bad luck, things happen. Because every player has miscommunications. I'm sure there have been plays where, Judge and Gardner miscommunicated, but everybody loves Judge, so no one complains about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Injury updates. Didi. That snuck up on us out of nowhere.
That was crazy. He's a couple months ahead of the schedule. He's playing in, high A now? Or
he's playing in high A, and I think he's going to Triple A tomorrow, and he'll be there for like a week or two, they said.
That's very surprising, but good news.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be back in August, maybe July, but June. You know what? He'll play half the season more, hopefully. So hopefully he can. I mean, when he comes back, you'll have Urshela, Didi, Torres, Voit, third to first, which is pretty.
And Glaber.
Right, Glaber at second, right.
So you're going to have to figure out what to do. With that, I've seen a lot of people say they're kind of concerned about that. I'm really not at a point where that's something I'm worried about, because I kind of think of it as like everybody's going to need a day off. People get hurt. Someone's going to need to DH. You can have, like, mathematically, if you're playing 6 or 7 games a week, you can have every single one of those 5 guys that you just named. Every single one of those guys can start 5 to 6 times a week, as long as, everybody works in, one day Glaber sits, one day LeMahieu sits. Didi's probably not going to start every day when he gets back, I think. I'm sure he'll get some DH days and stuff like that. It gets a little more complicated when Stanton comes back, and then you have Judge, Hicks, Stanton, Gardner, and Frazier, and one of those guys needs to DH probably, one of those guys on the bench. At that point, it gets a lot more complicated, but we're still a far way off from that, so I'm not really concerned about that yet.
Yeah, and Stanton seemed like he was making good progress, but then got hit in the knee, had some knee stiffness. So now
that makes no sense. I'm so confused about that. How can you see a muscle from a hit by pitch? It makes no sense.
Very interesting.
Really weird.
I kind of feel like he had the injury before, but once it hit him in the knee, it kind of just got worse.
Aggravated it, definitely. I don't know. It's not the kind of thing we can control. So again, I tend to think of it as if I can't control it, if I have no way of, if it's not, you can't pinpoint, it's on the team, it's on this one specific play. It's kind of whatever. You do what you can. You move on.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure if you heard. I'm sure you did on Twitter, but when Glaber Torres was going on fire against Baltimore, and the Orioles announcer Gary Thorne was just in shambles.
Yeah.
This man, goodbye. He was. I don't know if he was shocked or more angry.
I think he was just like, man, get this guy out of here already.
Yeah, I mean,
it was funny because every single one, it was like when he still had it was like he hit however many in the series, but still 3 more to go. And it was like, even with 3 more to go, it was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me? And then every time he hits the next one, it's like, oh, he must have upped his reaction this time. How could he possibly get crazier than the last time?
Exactly.
So, and then when they pinch hit with him in the last game, I'm sure he was like, oh my goodness, here we go again.
Right.
I'm not doing this, I swear.
No, I'm going to quit. But I think Torres now has hit 10 of his 13 home runs against Baltimore this year.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty wild. Yeah, a nice one yesterday to get us back in the game.
Yes, nice 3-1 shot.
Definitely. What else did I want to say? Oh, what I wanted to say is, this is another thing that I think we'll probably record again, at least one more time before Didi gets back. So this isn't necessarily something that the Yankees need to address immediately, but someone's going to need to go down when Didi gets back. Obviously, Cameron Maybin had been pretty cold for a while. He had a decent series against Kansas City, at least yesterday from what I saw. But he really could be playing better. Ideally, you kind of want to send an infielder down when Didi gets back, but the only one that really makes sense is Estrada, and he's been playing better than Maben of late.
Much better.
He has some outfield. He can play there. He has some outfield experience. Not a ton, but he played left field in the San Francisco series. So, I think they can feel comfortable enough throwing him out there, and he's a great contact hitter. So I think as of now, unless it's, Hale or Cortez or one of those relievers, or if somebody else gets hurt, which is with this team, you never know.
Totally possible.
Unless one of those guys goes down, assuming they tend to send down a hitter, or assuming they opt to send down a hitter, I think Maben might have to be the odd man out, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to send the shot down the way he's been hitting, especially in big situations. He had that nice double against Tampa Bay, gave him a couple of runs, had some nice hits against Kansas City, and he's gonna put.
Or he really is.
Really, he's kind of like.
And he has a good amount of pop.
The Yankees hitting coach Marcus Timms said he's kind of like Ronald Torreyes, but more power.
Oh my God, he is so much more of a productive player than Ronald Torreyes was.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Ronald Torreyes was like a 5'2" infielder that everybody. If Ronald Torreyes was above 6 feet tall, everybody would think he sucks.
Right. So, some small guy who no one really knows about and plays like once every 10 days. He's like a fan favorite. Yeah, he's a funny guy. Is he still in the majors? What team is he on now?
Now that you mention it, this is so weird.
I mean, I've heard his name all year.
I think Ronald Torreyes was in my dream last night, or the night before. I think, unless he made some insane I remember in my dream or in real life, and I'm forgetting it, he made some insane diving catch in left field for the Giants. Very possible that happened in real life. Pretty sure my dream. Anyways.
Disgusting.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think Torreyes is only... I remember this offseason, it was like, I think we DFA'd him and got picked up by the Cubs, and then I think he was on the Angels for a while, and I think he's on the Twins now. I think.
Twins.
I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure he's on the Twins.
Interesting.
Well. Yeah. I think we're going to touch more on the Scherzer trade talks later, which I think we might differ a little bit in our stances on that, because we tend to agree on a lot of things. So
we do, yeah.
A bit of disagreement there. I think Estrada could be a guy. I wouldn't call him a centerpiece of a deal. Definitely not for a guy like Scherzer. But he's a guy I could see getting moved at the deadline, because obviously if a guy comes up and plays, is this the type of player this guy's always going to be? Is he, just playing well, at the beginning of his career? I think Estrada is going to be a guy that's going to be a tough man, like an odd man out type throughout his career, because, I think the Yankees are probably going to re-sign Didi after this year. I think Didi really wants to stay, and I think the Yankees want him.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Urshela before, but Voit, Torres, we have LeMahieu for another year, and I think they should bring him back too. They have plenty of infielders, and I think Estrada could end up being being an odd man out, and I think he has a lot more value to another team than he does to us. We're talking about him as a potential guy that could get sent down when Didi calls up. If Estrada is on, I don't know, the Blue Jays, they're talking about him as, well, probably not the Blue Jays because they have a lot of good infield prospects too. But if Estrada is on, I don't know, the Tigers, they're talking about him as a really valuable prospect.
That's true. Yeah.
They wouldn't trade for anything. So I think he's more expendable to us.
For sure, yeah. He'd be much more valued on a last place team or any really any other team than the Yankees, honestly. Because all this depth they have.
Against the Tigers, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean.
Yeah. Other injury news, we got quite a few updates. We went over Stanton already. James Paxton. It was kind of confusing for a while because it seemed like, is he coming back? Is he not? Is there a pain in the knee? It was all the time fluctuating. We had no idea. And now Boone said he might start on Wednesday, which would be great.
Great. I mean, ever since before the injury, he looked amazing, dominant. Of course, was injured, but hopefully, I mean, if you have right now Tanaka, Herman, Paxton, and then CC as a 4 or 5 and Happ as a 4 or 5,
yeah,
that's pretty good. I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. He's a really nice piece you want to get back. I found out that I'm probably going to the game on Thursday night because I don't have school on Friday, which I'm pretty excited about, but we'll see. I don't really get why they wouldn't want to save Paxton for that series, but I mean, I trust Boone at the end of the day because right now we really only have three legitimate starting pitchers on the roster with Tanaka, Herman, and Happ. Because and if you could even call Happ a legitimate starting pitcher, but he looked good in the start on Saturday.
Saturday, right?
He gave up. I think. Well, let me say. It's so hard for me to differentiate between those two games because I watched the recaps of them back to back.
He went 6 innings, 3 runs.
He gave up a home run at the end that tied it, right? But he was really good up until then. Yeah, I think that's an encouraging start from Happ. Granted, it's against a terrible team, but I mean, even the Orioles were always hitting him hard, so I think you can't really be too upset about that. I think, but I don't know. This is another thing that you don't really have to worry about for a while, but I think you're going to have to end up using at least one opener against Boston, if not more, I think. And I personally don't really want... I mean, Nestor Cortez was throwing 5 innings.
Yeah, he's great. But, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, with the whole opener thing, do you like it? What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I like it. I think it has its place. I think it works much better with certain teams than others. The Rays build team opener are going to be able to use it more effectively, which is true of basically anything in baseball. The Rays build their roster around having a bunch of relievers that are, really not even necessarily great, but they're capable of going out there and giving you an inning. Their whole scouting department is based on finding these relievers that fit their system well. So if you're a team that's not built from the inside out on having an opener, then you're just not going to be as good at using the opener. But also we hit more home runs on the Rays because we build more around power hitters. So strengths and weaknesses. So it's not a knock on the organization at all that we're not as great with the opener with other teams. But I mean, it's worked enough so far. What do you think?
I mean, to be fair for the Yankees, they have all these great arms in the bullpen. So, whether it's the 3rd inning or the 8th inning, I feel like they should still be able to throw one scoreless inning of baseball. But you said earlier, either Adams, David Hale had 4 innings of work one game, or Cortez. These 3 guys have been, very solid as these kind of long reliever kind of guys. So,
absolutely.
Only thing is Chad Green has not been too good in that first inning. In his 2 starts as the opener. So
and he's pitching again today.
Yes.
Chad Green, a lot of Yankees fans, Green and Holler to me, in that, maybe on paper they are not. I think 9 times out of 10, when you put them in, they're not going to blow the game for you. Which obviously, if your threshold for a reliever is, they're not going to blow the game for me. That's a pretty low threshold to have. But I think 4 times out of 5, they're going to give you a scoreless outing. Green, I don't know if he's really perfect for the opener role. He seems like he would be, but even in what was it? Was that last week where he opened against Tampa? Yeah,
that was that. Yep. Last weekend.
2 home runs, but the second one barely looked like it was going out. I think it had 60 expected batting average. If you're going to knock Green for giving up a hit with an 0.60 expected batting average that somehow gets out of the park, that's not really on Green. I don't think you can really blame that on him.
Just go ahead.
If he has a bad start today, then I'm starting to get a little concerned.
Yeah.
Green. Look, we know right now he's not pitching like the Chad Green of 2017 and 2018, but if he gives us another bad start today, that's concerning. You have to take me too concerned. What about you?
I mean, for the Rays, they're open to usually Ryan Stanek, who throws hard like Green, nice location. So I feel like the Yankees are hoping he can become a Ryan Stanek. Maybe not as fast, as hard to throw, but I think that's their kind of their goal with him.
Types of pitchers.
Yeah. I feel like that's their goal. 3 easy outs. Maybe go out there for a second inning and work if it's a quick first inning. I mean, against the Padres, that'd be a good test for Green. It's a pretty good hitting team. Machado, obviously. They got some good young guys.
Yeah, obviously.
So, I think, today's a big test for Green.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing that you can't go into it say, I mean, I guess you can, but going into it saying we want Green to give us 2 innings or 1 inning or 3 innings or however many, like it depends on his pitch count. It depends how he's looked so far. It's the kind of thing that you can't really say definitively going in. You have to play by ear.
Right, you got to play exactly by ear. So
yeah. I just hope that whoever follows him today, which I think is going to be David Hale, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's not Adams because he's not on the roster. He got sent down after.
Cortez,
he didn't get sent down. He got returned after the doubleheader. And Court. I don't think he's available today.
No way.
I would bet Hale is gonna be the guy to follow Green today.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to injuries. Betances, they said is gonna start throwing from a mound. I think today.
Yep. Or tomorrow maybe.
I just got a notification on my phone that Severino plans to start throwing today or tomorrow. So that's gonna be a big thing to watch. If he says there's no pain or there is pain, that's gonna be, we need him back sooner rather than later. Is there a part of you that's a little concerned that the Severino we're going to see is the Severino we saw in the second half last year where he had an ERA of like 7?
It's very possible. He hasn't pitched a game of pro baseball in a while. So I feel like the first 1 2 starts may be a little rough, but hopefully if he's no pain, he's feeling 100%. His third or fourth start, I think he'll be the ace we all know he is. But
yeah.
I have a feeling that first start is going to be terrible. Everyone's going to be like, Severino, he should be out for the year or whatever, and some crazy stuff.
Yeah, shut him down, all that.
Yeah, but I think he'll be fine.
I think I agree with you. I don't think his first few starts are going to be ace material, but I think if his first start is 8 runs in 2 innings, and then his next start is 6 runs in 2 innings. At that point, I'm like, all right, what's going on here? But I agree with you that we shouldn't expect him to come back and be throwing 100 every pitch and
there's no way.
3
does great
hitters, 3 hit shutouts and whatnot. I don't think we can. I don't think we can expect that much of him.
That's good news.
Judge. Everybody gets so excited every time there's a Judge injury update. He's kind of an afterthought for me at this point, which is like an absurd thing to say about Judge. I'm kind of thinking of it as after the All-Star break right now. We're gonna hold down the fort. To me, obviously, there's all these stages in rehab, but, if you say to me, Judge is swinging a bat, that means nothing to me. That's okay. That could mean that he's a week away. That could mean that he's, 3 months away. I have all these, little baby steps. They don't mean anything until, when you tell me, okay, Judge is playing, an extended spring training game or he's rehabbing, at that point, I'm like, okay.
Great.
Unless it's a Didi situation where out of nowhere it's Didi's feeling great, he's throwing, he's hitting, he's doing everything perfectly. If Judge, in 2 weeks Didi is ready to come back, at that point I'm like, whoa, until then he's kind of an afterthought for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, the injury, because it didn't look so bad live during the game.
Yeah.
But it ended up being this long, pretty bad injury. So hopefully he'll be back before the All-Star break. I think that's where I'm at right now, All-Star break time area, I guess you would call it. But I think, next couple of weeks, unless with Didi, it's okay, he's playing in high A today, and then it could be a while.
Yeah, definitely. They got Didi back, I think, right around the Subway Series, or maybe they play right after they play Chicago, in Chicago in a 4-game set. I think right around then would be a really good timetable. I think right around then is when we should expect him back. They said definitely within 20 days, right? And that was yesterday or a few days ago. So I think 2 weeks from now, roughly.
Yeah, a couple of weeks. Yeah, which is very, very good to hear.
Yeah. What else? Oh, so obviously Yankees Twitter is exploding this week with Max Scherzer trade takes, which I think this is where we might disagree a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you see? And obviously also Keuchel with the draft coming up. We'll touch on that a little bit. That he's expected to sign, I think, within a few days after the draft. As soon as the teams don't have to lose that pick anymore, they're going to be a lot more. He's going to be a lot more appealing to them. Where do you see? First of all, do you think a Scherzer trade is realistic? Second of all, do you think the Yankees should pursue one, and given the package they would have to give up?
I mean, so obviously, Scherzer is a top pitcher in the league. and the Nationals kind of lost their chance, I think, with Harper leaving, and they're like in the playoffs and terrible. However, they do have some young. They have a good young team.
I mean, they brought in Corbin. They didn't go
Yeah.
silently this offseason.
They got Corbin, they got Soto, they got Trey Turner, who's hurt right now, but coming back soon. They got Victor Robles. So, but as of now, the Nationals aren't doing too well. With that said, I think they would be willing to trade him, but obviously for a very high price because it's Max Scherzer.
Oh my goodness, ridiculously high.
Yeah, he's probably the best pitcher in the league. So, but I think Yankees, like, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be mad if they got him. I would not be like, oh my God, Scherzer's on the Yankees. This is terrible. He's obviously great, but he'll be 35 in July, I think. So he probably has 3-4 years left unless he's like Randy Johnson, who plays until he's 50. But and his contract's big. I think he's like 7 years.
I'm gonna look up his contract info right now.
I think it's like 7 years, 210.
Crazy. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, let's make sure I got the
number. Because it's not. It's like I think it's like $30 million a year for the next 2 years, and then they also have to pay him after his contract is over. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's Jesus Christ. It's about $30 million a year for the next 2 years, and then for each year of 2022 to 2028, they have to pay him $15 million a year. That is a huge commitment. That's $165 million throughout the next 9 years.
And for
insane.
And for the 5 the later years, he probably retired or maybe barely playing.
Yeah, you're paying him to be on another team or to sit at home.
Right, exactly. So that's obviously not ideal. And plus the cost you gotta probably have to give at least Frazier, maybe Herman.
I think any kind of package for him starts with Andujar, Herman, Frazier.
Yeah,
and I think even that doesn't get it done.
Which is
I think any kind of deal where you any kind of deal that's going to get Washington to the table, you're going to have to throw out there one of Severino, Glaber, and Gary. And I don't think any Yankees fan wants to give up any of them three. No. I really don't think you can get a deal done with Washington without giving up any of those three. Obviously, we'll see how desperate they are come deadline time. He's not getting traded anytime before July, I think. No. I'd be very surprised if he was.
No way.
I just think he'll be really nice to have. Our pitching right now is our starting pitching is right now, we have all these injuries and whatnot. By the time the trade deadline comes, we're going to have Tanaka back. We're going to have not Tanaka. We're going to have Paxton back. We're going to have CC back. Severino's going to be nearing a return. There's other starters out. He's so far from a necessity for this team, especially for what it would cost to give him up, that it's just really not something. Look, again, if they trade for him, like you said, I'm not going to be, throwing stuff everywhere. I'm sure you and I will both be very excited. I mean, I was thrilled when they got Sonny Gray, and now that trade looks like it's not going to work out well for us. I remember you and I, one of our friends, was so upset when he found out they gave up Mateo. I was like, "What are you talking about? Mateo's, he's not going to be that good. Sonny Gray's like a superstar, and Sonny Gray and Mateo both turned out to. I mean, Mateo hasn't made the major leagues yet, but he really hasn't.
Yeah, what it looks like, not too good.
Yeah.
And if the Yankees want to get a pitcher, I mean, Keuchel, I know he's not as good as Scherzer, obviously, but there's no you don't give any prospects, no players.
Yeah. Even Keuchel at this point, it's another thing that I just don't. If we get to the playoffs and we have, let's see, Tanaka, Paxton, Severino, Herman, CC, Happ, Keuchel, Montgomery. That's what you have 7 other starters other than Keuchel.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jordan Montgomery is going to be pitching in a playoff game for us anytime soon. Even Happ at this point, we don't even know if he'll make the roster. But you just don't need all those pitchers in a playoff series. And it's May. Granted, it's May. It's a little too early to be thinking about the playoffs. You got to get there first. But in a playoff series, you need to have 3 good starters
and a fourth
starter.
Maybe.
Pitches maybe once this series. I mean, how often did did CC pitch for us in the playoffs last year? I think he had 1 start. Well, we only played 5 playoff games, but again, it's a 4th starter really is not a priority on your team. And we have if you go into the playoffs with a rotation of if if we go into the playoffs right now with the rotation that we have, that means that one of Tanaka, Paxton, Severino, Herman isn't getting a ton of playoff starts.
Right.
If you're
Which is
already
fine
at
with
that
me.
point, why do you need to go throwing prospects around for Scherzer or even
Exactly.
signing Keuchel?
Exactly.
Keuchel, obviously, to a much lesser extent. The other guy that Yankees Twitter Yankees fans seem to be pretty split on him is Stroman. I don't really want him that badly. He's had an up and down year for Toronto. He put together a bunch of really nice starts, and then he had a number that were really bad. He pitched really well against San Diego. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Archer, obviously, he's been terrible ever since the Pirates traded for him. I think I don't really follow NL baseball that closely, but I'm pretty sure Archer hasn't been that good ever since that trade. Obviously, it's been much better for the Rays. He shows a lot of emotion on the mound, which I like. I don't know if you saw, it was in his start against the Red Sox this week. He kept doing things like he would stay on the rubber when hitters called time. He was quick pitching guys. He was jumping up and down on the mound. He was doing all these things to mess with their timing. And a couple Red Sox, I think, after the game said it's dumb, it's bush league stuff. I like that. I like that. I mean, that's a kind of thing, every 80-year-old baseball fan hates because, it's not the way the game is supposed to be played and whatever. I kind of like that. If he was doing it against the Yankees, I don't think I'd like it that much, obviously. But I just don't think that's the kind of guy that the Yankees are going to pursue. And I mean, look, we traded with Toronto for Happ last year, so they're not afraid of doing intra-division trades.
No,
but I just I think even if we're talking trade for Stroman, I think Clint is on the table. I don't know if Andujar's on the table, but I think maybe Herman's name gets thrown out there. I think you're going to have to give up a decent package if you want. I think I saw on Instagram the funniest thing was talking about whether you get Scherzer, and someone commented give them Romine, Bird, Tulowitzki, and Morales and international money for sure.
Sure.
And it was
a
completely serious comment. And I was like, do you know how quickly the Nationals hang up the phone on that offer? We call the Nationals right now and say Herman and Bird. I think they hang up on that offer.
Yeah, for sure.
And you want to give them Tulowitzki and Morales?
And Bird is not even playing for the last 3 years.
Bird really got some excited.
Yeah.
Yankees
that
fans
power.
are emotional. Anyways, that's the kind of thing that we really don't have to. All these things that we discuss on the podcast are, things we don't have to discuss until they roll around.
Right.
It's a nice dream, something nice to look forward to. I don't think it's a definite by any means. I don't think it's a given. I don't think that it's something that Yankees fans should rely on.
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm happy with this roster. They're winning games. So I'm okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, no, I think we're definitely good at the place we're at right now. So we got 2 series against respectable teams coming up. We have San Diego now, and then we have Boston. Let me see if the probable pitchers were listed yet. I think I saw Paddock is going to start Wednesday for San Diego. So Paxton comes back, and we have Paddock and Paxton. That could be an interesting matchup. I think we have to think of it this way. This series for San Diego, we're looking at them as okay, Machado and whatever. It's this series means a lot more to San Diego than it means to us. I think San Diego is thinking, okay, we're facing one of the hottest teams in the league right now. The Yankees are 22-9 or whatever in their last however many games.
Yeah.
This series is a much bigger test for San Diego than it is for us. If the Yankees take 2 of 3 in this series, that's expected. If the Padres take 2 of 3 in this series, they're getting excited over in San Diego. Okay, it looks like the matchups are Matt Strahm today against Chad Green, which will be an opener. Yep. And then tomorrow was Eric Lauer and Tanaka. And then Wednesday is Chris Paddock, who I think is the favorite for NL Rookie of the Year at this point, versus it seems like it might be Paxton, but nothing announced yet. Do you think this is a question that I'm gonna get pretty passionate about? Do you think Machado's gonna get booed this series, and do you think he should get booed?
God. See, I don't really know, because I mean,
I think
you think he will. I mean, I see why he would, because the Yankees didn't they could have signed him, and I'm sure they put a deal out there, but he obviously didn't come to New York. So
Yeah.
I think for that reason they will. But also, like, we have Urshela now who's doing great. So it's not like we have no one on their base.
Look, Yankees fans love getting upset about things. They love having somebody to be angry at. You remember when Cano came back,
Oh, my
and
God.
Cano's a bit of a different situation because he had already been a Yankee and he left the Yankees,
Right.
and the Yankees gave him a respectable offer that he apparently felt like disrespected by, and he went to like a terrible team for the money. Machado's a bit of a different situation, or a very different situation, because he didn't leave the Yankees, he just didn't sign with them. The Yankees apparently didn't much as he was really hoping for, which I'm sure they put a respectable offer out there, but
Yeah.
I don't think throwing him, 8 and 160 gets him anywhere. I mean,
No.
I'm sure they offered him much more than that. But I mean, look, it's one of those things that I had a tweet about it. Let me find it. This is great podcasting as I'm waiting for my Twitter notifications to pop up. There we go. To Yankees fans who want to boo Manny today, don't. It's just dumb. The team understandably passed on him in his contract because they decided we didn't need him. That's not his fault. It was 3 months ago. Get over it. Pretty much. I think the team said, nice to meet you. I think $100 million at one player right now. He would have fit in nicely with the youth movement. It seemed like, this idea, the hustling thing. Have you heard like a single thing about Machado hustling ever since he's on with the Padres?
No.
I think maybe within the first week where it was like, oh, look at this, this.
He's walking in first.
And anybody who thinks that the hustling was the reason they didn't sign Machado is out of their mind.
That's
I don't think a single Yankees fan under the age of 30. And I don't think a ton of people in the Yankees front office cared about the hustling either. Yeah, what can you do? It was a while ago. I wasn't upset when they signed LeMahieu, like I think a lot of fans were. I was just surprised. I was like, man, we're not getting Machado, which in hindsight, I don't know why we really thought that, because it was like, we still could have. But we also didn't realize how big of a role LeMahieu was going to have on the team. Like, LeMahieu didn't even start on opening day. I think that's something that a lot of people forget. He was on the bench on opening day because we had everyone healthy. Well, not everyone. We had a lot more
Most
guys.
people. Yeah.
But I mean, now if you anytime LeMahieu sits, it's like, whoa. Yeah, we're more than fine with the guys we have now. We weren't paying 10 and 300, and I'm glad we didn't.
Yeah, also Machado, like, he went to San Diego. Now, like,
it's in the past. It's not something I'm waiting on. It's something I'm thinking about all the time.
I mean, I think I'd be more upset if we went to like a team we play like a lot more each year. But San Diego, we play twice a year.
If he goes to Tampa, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, or like Boston, I'm like, okay. Not okay.
He publicly said he has no respect for the Red Sox, so I think that was never happening.
Which is but yeah. But he's in San Diego. We play him twice a year, 2 series a year. So, you know what? Whatever. 6 games, maybe 7. I'm not gonna go crying over Machado. I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of wanted them to sign. I really wanted them to sign him when they signed LeMahieu. I was kind of like, all right, we're not getting him. When he went to San Diego, I was like, all right, that's expected. At this point, if there's anybody who, like, at any point this year has thought, like, man, I'm so, like, have you said at a single point this season, man, I'm so mad we didn't sign Machado?
No.
Not really. Which isn't to say that I would have been upset if we signed him. I would have been thrilled if we signed him.
Well, our team's doing fine.
It hasn't even crossed my mind at this point. I've accepted it as a reality. Like, I accepted it as a reality so long ago. It was over 3 months ago. I am so over it.
Yeah, it's kind of not even in my head. Like, I've kind of forgotten Machado, honestly.
Yeah, like, I mean, he's in the NL, which makes it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Miguel Andujar was also in the clubhouse today. Fantastic.
Great. That's really big news.
That is. And then we have a 4-game set against Boston, which is going to be really exciting. We don't know how the pitching is going to line up for that yet. Like I said, I'm probably going on Thursday, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, if we can take, I think a little bit after Boston. Let's see. I think do we play Cleveland after Boston, or do we have a series between?
I think it is Cleveland. Maybe a bad team.
We have we have the 4 game set against Boston, then we have we have a bit of a road trip. We have 3 in Toronto, then 3 in Cleveland, then we have two Subway Series games at home, and then we go on the road for 4 in Chicago, which is probably right around when we'll be getting Didi back. That's pretty crazy to think that we have 4 or 5 series left without Didi, and then he's back. That's
very exciting.
I would love to get Judge back. I think I'm way more excited about getting Didi back than about anybody else who's on the IL, which I'm biased because he's my favorite player. But I'm just so he's going to bring so much in infield of Urshela third, or in infield of people like a lot of the analytics show that Urshela's not a great fielder, which it's a little you look at him and I think he's made some great plays. At the end of the day, every time he fields up like a routine ground ball, and Yankees fans are like, oh my god. I think that's just because we've been accustomed to seeing Andujar throw it away, and A-Rod in his later years was never great at third. Just statistically speaking, an infield of DJ third, Didi shortstop, Glaber second, is Urshela third, Glaber short. Urshela's going to start at least 4 times a week at third. I think we would agree on that. So I don't think there's an issue there at all. He's certainly going to get some playing time. He's been fantastic with the bat. I don't think Urshela's playing time. I mean, everyone's playing time is going to suffer when Didi gets back, obviously, but I don't think he's not going away by any means.
No, I think. And then when Didi comes back, no one's going away. They can have a rotation. One guy sits, one guy maybe DH. Which will probably be Didi the first couple of games.
They'll figure it.
Yeah, Boone's smart. Yeah, Cashman's smart.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else, Nate? I think we covered it.
I think we covered it.
All right. Reminder. Well, happy Memorial Day to everyone yet again. Well, not yet again, but just again. Check Twitter. We still have the Masahiro Tanaka jersey card to give away, which Nate and I are going to be away for most of this summer. So if you want that, whoever wins that wants it shipped to them before August, then we're gonna have to get going on getting that giveaway going. So
guys,
just repeated myself, but we really, tell your friends to follow, make 15 different accounts and follow.
Whatever you want.
Whatever. If anybody wants to make 15 different accounts and retweet Tantra to get that Tanaka, you're more than welcome to. Anyways, thanks everyone for listening. Let us know what you thought of streaming on YouTube, if there were any issues with it, if you enjoyed watching. We really want to stream more on YouTube in the future, so let us know because we're really looking forward to that. All right. Nate, anything else?
Happy Memorial Day. Game starting in an hour and 40 minutes. Very excited for that. Let's go, Yankees.
All right. Everybody, peace.